Hello, Lee Anthony Davis with a follow-up video. If you saw my video this morning, I had completed my sixth resolution. It's basically making a script and having it typed out and brought back to me. It's all done now. Now the next step was obviously to mail it off to the BBC, but I won't go into that. What I will go into is explaining sort of a backdrop to what this script is about, what it's about, who it's about, what the story entails, what the script is, the characters, roughly a background breakdown sort of thing. Right, so this is what I wrote. I wrote a story, and I added when I did the story, the backline. I usually do when I learn it when I was in English. Used to do a spider. A spider is a sort of way of adding things to the story, like for instance, background, character, uh, direction. Like sort of like it's designed in a spider. You do that in English, sort of mundane stuff, but it helps you to sort of construct things because that's what it really is. It constructs. It helps you to construct, and it's also a guideline on where and where not to go. So anyway, I did the story, and I'll tell you what it's about without going on any. Right, firstly, I'm going to tell you a bit about the background of this character. His name is Peter Vanacek. Well, I'll tell you what it's called. It's called Vanacek the Dark Hunter. Right, so at least you know what it's called. It's about Peter Vanacek, a determined investigative reporter on the trail of zombies, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, ancient human sacrifices, and even aliens. So join the hunt with Vanacek as he uncovers the truth and takes you to the darkest alleys and places, to the bizarre and strange, to the damn right terrifying in the lairs of London. So obviously you know it's set in London, in England. So these are the stories. I don't know. It's when I face it like this. As you can see, there it is. That's what I just read. That is the adventures that I've also wrote, but not all of them. I managed to do about four of them, but I'll just go through them what they are. The stories to entail this one. The first one I completed was called The Dark Lord. It's a Jack the Ripper story. I'm not going to go into details yet. The second story I did myself was Death. It's Behind You. That's a zombie story. The third one is called The Invisibles. That's an alien story. The Night Hunter is number 4. That's a vampire story. Lycanthropy. I can't even say it. It's basically werewolves, all right. Lycanthropy. That's it. It's a werewolf story. The Deal is a Satan story, the devil story sort of thing. Sacrifices of Terror is an Aztec story. Demons in Disguise is a sort of ghoul story. The next one is called The Negative Eater. Is an entity story that's about forces you can't see and unknown forces that basically sort of inhabited an area, and anyone that goes near them gets zapped, sort of thing. So anyway, that's what that entails. I haven't wrote the story for that yet. Also, I've got The Stone Killer, which is obviously a Gorgon story. The Mind of Murders, a psychic story. Terror at Night, a mythical creature story. The Fashion Killer, a witchcraft story. The Absorber, a dating agency story about people trapped by this dating agency and they end up losing their youth to be turned into sort of old age pensioners and die with away. So time takes their life away, if you know what I mean, by a certain persons or persons unknown who are actually sold their soul to their goddess or whatever. I won't go into that. It's best not. And also, the Doom Watcher is a supernatural story. The Silicates is a calcium blood sucker story. The actor of deception is an unbalanced person story, and the bloodline is a Nazi story. I did 18 adventures there, so as you can see, there's the outline to what it is. Right, now, you want to know about character detail, the protagonists that will be in this story. Right, the first one, Peter Vanacek, is a reporter. He wears a pork pie hat and an old 1980s suit in the colour blue with a kipper tie and sneakers. That's his sort of persona on who or what he is and what he wears, his fashion. His boss of the, I haven't told you what the name of the newspaper place is where he's working, I'll tell you in a minute. Anton Stavros is an editor and Vanacek's boss, wears a crisp suit, small in stature, dark hair. Right, the financial columnist is called Jim Tite. He works at the same paper as Vanacek. Small round face, easily scared. In other words, he's easily, you can frighten him with putting him on stories like blood and stuff. It would turn his stomach, so he wouldn't go to those sort of reporting areas. He's more at home with financial sort of what's the word for it? Who cares? I think you got the gist. Financial areas, I would say. His area is financial, fiscal policies and all that jargon crap. Anyway, I'm getting bogged down by this. Steve is the guy that works downstairs. He develops all the film. John Allen is a detective that pops up now and again. Obviously, he's always one step behind Vanacek. His name is John Allen. He's a detective, leading investigator to murders, tall, stern, and looking. That's his description. You've got Samantha Collins, who's a rival journalist to Vanacek's newspaper, but he's also his friend, so he's a source to get information from, and he sometimes gives a few hints on what to write for a headline, as long as he gets something in return. Stella, an undercover policewoman, blonde hair, thin. She works under the guise of John Allen. Obviously, they're trying to trap somebody. I'll go into that in probably another time when I come round to tell you about another story I've done. And of course, in this adventure, it's about the Ripper himself, who's a blackguard, dark beard, moustache, looks not of this period. In other words, he comes from another time. And how did he get here? Good point. Wears an old-fashioned cape and black top hat, always wears black clothing, so he's a dark person, obviously. And that's basically it. And most of the scenes will be various locations around London, in England, everywhere in London. And that's where it's set, really, in London, England. As if you didn't know where London is. So that is basically all that lot, right? So now, moving on to the next important bit, is the script itself. Now, I'm just going to pull this out. There's quite a lot of it. This is the one I had typed. As I've just said, I've done the cast of characters. Now, I'm going to read you some of the scripts, so you've got an idea of what this is all about. And there's plenty of, because remember, it's done in a professional way, so I've got, like you do in Shakespeare, Act 1, Scene 1. So let me go through. And in this first one, we have a setting, which is Scene 1. The scene opens with a view of Big Ben and the city around it, like a camera shot and everything, if it was done in a film sort of variation. And then you have Peter Vanacek, sat on a train, looking out the window. He holds a tape recorder in one hand and starts talking. If by chance, Vanacek, this is where I put a voiceover on it as well. So I added that in as you're looking at him from, shall I say, straight forward at him from a camera angle as he's on the train doing this with his recorder, talking into it, and you got the voiceover, and it says, If by chance you happen to be in the metropolis of London between May the 15th and June the 16th of this year, you would have had a very good reason to be terrified. And Vanacek continues as he stares out the window. During this period, London was being stalked by a horror so frightening, so fascinating, it ranks within the great mysteries of all time. And we have the final bit of Vanacek before we cut into the actual scene and dialogue. It's been the financial subject of novels, plays, fictional. It's been the fictional subject of novels, plays, films, and even an opera. Now here are the true facts. There you go. And now we move into scene one, act one. And this is where we get into all the dialogue. As you can see, it's I can show you so you've got an idea. That's how it's typed. There you go. I know you can't see it. I'll try and get it to the camera if you can see it a bit better. There you go. If you can read backwards, because I can't do nothing with this camera that I'm using at the moment because I'm using a mobile. Probably on a PC it would have probably been better to show you. But anyway, I think there's quite a lot of scenes here. I'll give you some more. Here we go. This is where it's set. A bar in Soho, London. The dressing room of one of the workers of the bar. In the centre of the room, there is a dressing table with a mirror on it. A chair is positioned at the dressing table, in line with the mirror. At rise, a young girl, about 19 years old, is dancing. She has long brown hair, an energetic smile, and is wearing only glitter knickers. And the voiceover Vanacek comes in again. On May the 15th, 3 a.m. Across the nightlife in Soho took a place called the Blue Rooms. Sarah Collins, stripper, had just finished her last performance. And then we have another voiceover. The door of the dressing room opens. As we see the girl putting on her dressing robe, she turns to sit in a chair with a mirror in front of her. She sees the reflection of a man standing behind her. As she turns and screams, the man lunges forward, pulling out a sword and slicing through the girls several times. The man then exits through the dressing room door. We do not see his face as the man walks towards the exit of the bar. The heavy on the security, that's the bouncer, walks into the girl's dressing room to check she is okay. After seeing her dismantled body, he turns towards the man and says, "Hey, grab that guy." You get the gist, don't you? So that's basically the voiceover and the background of this. This one's called the Dark Lord. As I said, it's a Ripper story. I've done 3 other stories already to this, but this was the one that was typed out, and this one's ready to go. Death It's Behind You is a zombie story, as I said. That one's complete as well, but it has to be typed out along with The Invisibles, which is an alien story, and The Night Hunter, which is a vampire story. And they're all set in London. So there you have it. Just going through this again. Get to the dialogue. Here we go. Now, when the voiceover is done and stuff like that, because I don't want to read it all, it could go on a long, long time. Here we go. Vanacek. I did not state that I was. He gestures with his arms to suggest something. Vanacek continues. A police officer. Vanacek folds his arms and pauses. Stavros, his boss. Well, you acted like a police commissioner. You commandeered a private automobile. You had people under arrest. Stavros moves around impatiently and gestures wildly. Vanacek stands quietly, relaxed. I'm only going to read a little bit because this is a hell of a fucking script. It goes on for about 150 pages. More descriptiveness coming here. Well, they were interfering. Oh, sorry, carry on with the dialogue. This is Vanacek. Well, they were interfering because of them. I missed one of the biggest stories of the year. I placed them under citizen's arrest. That's my right. Vanacek moves forward and points his finger towards Stavros. Stavros replies, I have a few rights too, and I plan on exercising them right now. Sound of a train interrupts Stavros, and he has to pause unwillingly. He stares upwards in despair until the noise dies away. And Stavros continues. Last night even, in one brief moment of total madness, you managed to tear apart some of the lies that this newspaper built up over many years with the police department and the police commissioner. He hates you, by the way, a lot. Vanachuk stands with his hands on hips. He looks down. Okay. He plays with his tie. Vanacek, what's the bottom line? He looks up hopefully. The bottom line, Peter. Stavros closes his eyes and pinches his nose. Miss Jenny went on vacation this morning. That's one of the colleagues. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm trying to find it all because there's so much here. I think that's page 5 I've got there. Yeah, page 5 it is. Page 6. I've got some more settings here inside the offices of the Vanacek's desk. Vanacek is sat on his desk. His colleague walks towards Vanacek's desk, carrying on armful of letters. Colleague in sarcastic. So that scene ends. In other words, he's going to give that assignment to him, the Lonely Hearts column, because of what he did, pretending to masquerade as a police officer to get nearer to the story as it was. So obviously paid the price for that. So anyway, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I don't understand any of this. Well, it's easier when it's done in its right context. If you've ever done drama or you've done scripts and stuff, you understand when it's all put into its context, it all starts to work well. Remember, I'm just reading it as it's sort of typed out. I mean, I would have typed it out maybe, in a better way so I'd understand it, but it's been done by, I paid somebody to do this. So it's basically written down with everything added, action, pause, I'm not going to go on any more about this because, like I said, there's 150 pages here, but I am proud of this piece of work I have done. And I will send this off to the BBC and see what they think. I think I know what they think, but it doesn't matter what they think. What matters is I've actually done it, and this is my resolution. And that's all that matters as far as I'm concerned. I have completed something that I said I'll do in January, and it's done now. So I have completed my 6th resolution, wrote the script, got it typed out professionally by someone I paid, and now all I have to do is send it off to the BBC, and that will be it. So that's all I have to say, really. So I hope you've enjoyed what entertainment you could call it. But that's basically what I do. I write and I make scripts. I've actually started on my little book and it's called Pathways, but that's another story. But that's nothing to do with this. This is more like science fiction horror. It's a screenplay. Yes, you're right. It's also can be done as a theatre drama as well. So anyway, there's about 10 characters in here, so they've all got dialogue, and I've given you a bit of a taste of it. I know I didn't construct it good for you, but I just wanted to prove to you that I'd actually done it. I wouldn't have bothered making this video in the first place, but I thought I'd do something like this because it needs to be shown, and it's done, and I felt like I'd like to share it with some people, and hopefully some people will like it or not. But remember, this is the first of 18 stories I've got to write. 4 of them have been done. The next one I'll be working on will be Lycanthropy. That's the werewolf story, alright? That will take probably weeks and weeks to complete because I've got to construct it. I've got to, as I remember what I said earlier, in English you do a spider diagram and you put down points, background, story, characters, presentation, basically what direction it's going in, what is the surprise and stuff like that, how do you make it intriguing. You've got to put all those little points in, and then you work round it, and that's how you start to construct your story. And then the next important bit is how to write it and how to make the dialogue seem plausible when you say it, and also how it could be projected and how it would be sort of convincing Like when someone is talking to you, it's actually real. You know, like you're chatting to somebody in a normal sort of situation, and it's done in the same way. But I've done it badly, but I wasn't actually trying to act to show you what it was. I was just going to give you an example of what it is and show you tell you a little bit how this stuff is actually constructed. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort, it certainly takes a lot of time, but the rewards are just as equal as well. And I feel sort of accomplished that I've done what I had to do, and it's great because I enjoyed doing it. And now that it's all ready, I'm even more prouder to say that I've done my sixth resolution. So there you have it. Basically, that's what this video is about, to show you my stuff. I'll show you something else before I go, so don't go away. Right, these are others. Inside here are actually the stories that I did. The other three. Here's one already complete, another one complete. So I'll put them in there like that. Let me just show you something else before I call it a day. Here's another draft. This one's the one I was talking about. Number 2, death. If you can read that backwards, there it is. Death. I'll just put it to the camera. Death. It's behind you. You can just about make that. I'm sorry it's in back. I'm sorry the camera's backwards, but it's on the mobile phone, so I can't switch to show you anything. Oh, wait a minute. I think no, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's facing me, the camera, not facing away. So that's it really. So there it is. And as you can see, it's a hell of a lot. That's my second story done, but it's not typed out yet. So anyway, there you go. I'll throw that over there out of the way. So anyway, that's it. I'm really proud to have taken my time to show you this. Like I said, I've got other 4 more resolutions to do. I won't tell you about them until they're complete, but at least one of them is to appear on somebody's YouTube channel as a guest. I'll tell you what, I'll get round that. I'll interview myself, so I would have probably sort of hoodwinked that area, and I would have just interviewed myself. I suppose that's one way of achieving that, but like I said, I won't hold my breath, and I'm sure they're not interested, but I don't give a damn. It's only a bit of fun. That's why I said these resolutions, but I can't believe I've completed 6 of them. So I've got 4 more to go before the end of the year. So it's amazing what I've achieved. So anyway, I'd like to firstly thank all the YouTube subscribers that have subscribed to this channel. I've also like to thank everyone that's joined me groups on Facebook. I also like to thank everybody that's followed me on Twitter, and I also like to thank everybody that's followed me on Instagram. As you know, I do quizzes on Instagram, and I post a few Doctor Who questions on Twitter as well. And I also do boxing videos where I'll give tips on how to punch, uppercut or cross punch. And I'll do that on my official boxing group because I used to box years ago, but I still learn or obtain some of the knowledge. I'm also a group expert on somebody's group. I'm not an expert, but they decided to make me one. It's on James Bond. It's called the James Bond Group. So if you want to join that group, by all means, you're welcome. I've got some groups coming out. As you know, I've got 150, and I'm hoping to get them all out very fast. They're all up and running. They've got the photos and everything. It's just I've got no members in them. Well, I've got 70 groups out that have members, but I haven't got still another 80 to get out. But the problem is you've got to do all the fucking donkey work, all the bag work, as they say. You've got to get you've got to give the background to what this group's about, and then you've got to do a members list board, then you've got to add material to start the ball rolling. So remember that, there's 80 of them. And as well as doing all this stuff, as I showed you, as well as writing a book called, I'll tell you what it's called again, it's called Pathways. It's about 2 different lives that cross paths. That's why it's called Pathways. And it's based on my story, actually. It's true. It's based on facts. I am that person, but I won't tell you which one. And I'm hoping to get it published, but like I said, there's billions and billions of publishers out there that never make it. But it's only a bit of fun. But at least if I can get the book written, at least that's halfway. That's 50% of the problem out of the way. So anyway, I'm going to go now. I think I've rabbited on far too long. I'll do a live broadcasting on Instagram about this, and also on Twitter as well. But I won't be doing any live broadcasting. I did a recorded video on there to let them know that I'll give them a breakdown on what my sixth resolution was on the actual story that I've just shown you here. So anyway, all I've got to say is thank you for watching. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.